Hello Sea Wolves and welcome back to the show. So we've had a little time for the northern and the more southern strategy to work themselves out, and I think it's time to dive into the results and see what we can see for the future of the race so far. But before we do that, here we go. 3, 2, 1, cheers!
Nighttime life on board here. Going through the trade wind with a few clouds. It's some pretty clean sailing though. The sun's just starting to come up, and we're looking to jibe to the west now. But thought I'd show you a little bit what it's like in the nighttime as well.
Delicious. So before we get started in, of course, the Imoca class, let's take a quick look at the Ocean 50s, because they're almost in. As you can see, Solidaires and Peloton still continuously in first place, and well, one half a day or so more. And well, let's hope that they actually, make it to the finish line and clinch the win. But so far, super impressive race. Basically led the field from the start and just ran, a flawless race. Realités in 2, Viables Oceans in number 3. The distances, like 2 days ago, getting shorter and shorter. So, even though it looks quite close, they are still quite far away from each other. About 120 miles still between the number 1 and 2. And over 100 miles more between number 1 and 3. So Solidaires and Peloton really in a very solid lead there, but the distances overall did get a little bit smaller than 2-3 days ago. So in that sense, it's good that they're almost at the finish, and I guess that has to do with the trades just being a little bit variable right now. And that of course is also very important in the Imoca race. So let's take a look at the tracker here, and of course many of you already have seen that Thomas Ruyant again in the lead down on the more southern path, which I think it really speaks to his quality as a skipper. New boat, of course, was leading in his previous ship also. Just a really strong participant in the Vendée, in the intermediate races, and again now with kind of a solid lead. He picked out almost 40 kilometers or something between them and the number 2, or actually it's 20 kilometers between him and the runner-up Paprec Arkea, but then they have about 100 miles between them and the number 3. So that's actually doing really well. At the same time, we see that for the Planet, kind of the leader, or teamwork.net, sorry, that the kind of the leader of the more, well, by now it's more northern group, because actually kind of the west position is kind of similar for both the upper and the northern group, have fallen back significantly. So actually distance between them and the target Martinique now actually a little bit longer, even of course their route was quite a bit shorter overall that they will have taken by the end. And yeah, we're really waiting for that moment that they can really start that reach kind of down to Martinique. Once the low really passes them, which should be in the next 12 hours or so, they should be getting really excellent reaching conditions. So we can see it kind of there. So this is the weather right now, and of course their position is there around here. So they're kind of like right above, still waiting for this to sort of subside so they can move through here and actually start making their way down to Martinique. Now, if we look at the prediction, we see that at the earliest is going to be happening basically tomorrow by the end of the day. And from that moment on, so this is kind of the route that they're hoping to take, is something along these lines, like pretty direct express south toward Martinique now. And if we look at the following days, so Saturday up to Sunday, we basically see that for the next several days, so some light winds here and there, maybe a little bit patchy, but overall for the next 4 or 5 days They have a great beam reach course, basically. So if you look at tomorrow by the end of the day, it's pretty much a beam reach course with quite nice wind speed. So yeah, basically 14, 15, 18 knots, gusting up to 20, 22 for the whole road. And it's a lot better angle, of course, or a little bit more optimal, let's say, than what the rest, on the other route have, because yeah, like just off a beam reach, so it's downwind sailing, but it's just off a beam reach. It's kind of an ideal angle for the Imoca. So likely they'll be able to push out even more speed than kind of the lower Imocas who are, you know, doing out 22, 24, 20, 25 knots. But of course the Imocas can go a little bit faster. They can really cruise at like 27, 28 knots if the sea state allows for it. And with the wind kind of going in their direction for the Nordic group and the sea state hopefully coming down a little bit over the next 3-4 days, they should perhaps theoretically be able to hit those really high speeds. And so I don't think that the race is run yet, even though of course, like you know, if you kind of add up all the numbers and you look at the lower group, they're going to have more or less perfect weather. So the only thing that still is giving an advantage, and I think this only goes for teamwork.net, so I think everybody else in the group is too far away by now to still have any chance to kind of cut into the front leaders. But teamwork, and I think there's one other boat there also, or is that, no, it's just them. So teamwork just in the, yeah, as a only other boat kind of in a good position, right? Hemelsbreed, as we say in Dutch. They are about about 200 nautical miles further distance than for the people right now, you know, which is a lot. But you know, if they can average a speed of like 5 or 6 knots more, you know, every hour, and we still got maybe 4, maybe even a little bit more days to go, theoretically it's still very much possible to overtake if they have that, if they can hold that little bit more optimal angle and just kind of screech their way down. So it's still going to be interesting to see what's going to happen there. And yeah, for the rest of the fleet, so Paprika Archaea in 2, for the Planet in 3, Charal of course still dangerous in 5. That's also kind of interesting, is that we see of course several of the skippers having taken a bit of a lower positioning, so they opted to sail a bit more south, and that also, I would say, at this moment still gives them a bit more of an optimal course compared to where the wind is coming from. So I think also between kind of the absolute leader now on For the People and boats like Charal, but there's several other boats in that orbit as well. So we have here we have Sam, we have Charal, we have For the Planet, and we have Malizia also there, who I think are still very much contenders, in the sense that now that they kind of so once they kind of jibe, I think yeah, they'll be able to go quite on a long test.
We're gonna have to push right to the end. It's been some really good racing the last few days, but Justine's definitely got a chance of snapping the wind before we can get there. But enjoying our south route, enjoying the pleasant trade wind sailing. We've been doing 20+ knots boat speed for the last few days, and yeah, enjoying life on board.
On the tracker it might look a bit strange that they sail there in the north, but the routing makes sense, and the weather pattern is favorable still for them on the models. So we will see. The race is still exciting to the end.
Yeah.
And
keep our fingers crossed for us.
Big respect to Justine for her courage and strength to stay through these tough conditions while we're here in the sunshine. Those t-shirts, they must be up there in their biggest hat and fleece, banging against the waves.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Maybe even without jibing again, if they're really lucky, because the wind is going to turn a little bit more, coming a little bit more from the north. So who knows? Like, I think there also it's about 100 miles. We still have plenty of days to go. So I would say between the number 1 and the number, let's see what we got here. That's oh, Lassie 10. So, and they're probably in like 10 or something like that. Yeah, I would say that probably oh yeah, here, number 9, yeah. So I think that between the number 1 and the number 9, I think, because that's kind of a clear cut as far as distance goes. For that group, it's still like, and especially the lower group, so yeah, Occitan itself, and I guess also VMB Mayenne, kind of not in such a favorable position because they're a bit behind, but they're also still too much north to really go on like an optimal attack right away. So they're still going to have like half a day or so. They're going to need to kind of get south enough to really make use of the wind then up, and they might also get a little bit more extra speed. But especially this lower group, I think in a very good position now, and they're going to be doing like really well. Like I see right now, also speeds 22, 23. So yeah, they're going really fast already, and with the wind increasing, I think that's only going to get better for them. Whilst Arkea per pack, and for the people, they're going to have to make probably at least 2 more jibes, and of course that also takes time. So yeah, that's kind of the analysis there. Now for the class 40, we see actually a similar thing. So in the interim, they have also kind of seen a significant part of their fleet break up for a more western, in this case a bit more northwestern route, because they literally sailed up a little bit to kind of get out of the way of that high pressure zone and to just choose to go over. And right now they're all kind of speeding, skipping along the high pressure, you know, hoping to avoid, of course, the low winds, while we see a similar thing as with the Imocas, where the lower group is just already making their way down to the southern trades. And yeah, they're interestingly in a pretty similar situation. So I would say for them, kind of the leaders, so Influence 2, Credit Mutuel, we have Amaris and Group Cinef. And we have down low Allegrande Pirelli still, I think, in the most favorable position. But right now, actually, the leader is Project Rescue Ocean. And a similar thing as in the Imoca fleet, so they are technically closer to Martinique, but they're also situated a bit more high, while actually the more lower boats are going to be, or more southern boats I should say, are just going to be in a better position once they jibe to really make that long run towards Martinique. And you know, they still have some southerning to do, so I think they'll probably do something similar as the Imoca, so they'll have like still like a day, maybe day and a half of sailing down, and then they'll, you know, continue their way up. But yeah, similar like for the other group, the race is not yet run, although I don't think that the more western group, or more northern group as it looks like now on the map, really has any chance, because before the high pressure really clears for them, or for them to kind of get clear, because if you compare it to where the Imocas kind of are, you know, location wise towards the class 40s, the Imocas are really quite a significant, like right now teamwork, you know, is kind of situated here, so they're really quite a lot more west, and they're, of the Imocas, the only boat in a position to kind of get over the windless zone. So I don't think that the upper fleet in the class 40 is going to have an easy time kind of getting through there. But we'll see. I would definitely personally favor basically the leaders, Allegrande Pirelli, still I think in the best position overall. And yeah, so that's it for the Imocas class 40s. And I guess tomorrow we'll see the winners in the Ocean 50 fleet actually come in. And so yeah, that's it actually for the race update today. I do have a few other things that are kind of cool to discuss, because many of you have also seen the long form interview that we did about the orca situation in Portugal. So we have kind of a developing and growing problem really off the west coast of Europe, because it's up as far as Shetland now, where small sailing boats, so you know, up to like 60 footers or so, are getting attacked very regularly by orcas. And I use the word attack kind of carefully, because it's, well, I mean, yeah, for all intents and purposes, the orcas, as it turned out, are really kind of intending to kind of do damage. So yeah, if you want to know all the details on that, watch that whole video. But I've been talking over the last like month and a half to a lot of really the experts in the world from, you know, various universities, several groups in Portugal itself that are working on this problem, and some technical companies that are, you know, working with all kinds of technology to echolocate things underwater, AI companies that are doing things like translating what dolphins are saying and things like really high-tech cool stuff. And we're kind of trying to figure out if there is a real way, a real solution, you know, putting several technologies together to find a way to solve this problem, to figure out a way so that we can just make sure that this doesn't happen anymore, or that we can kind of predict where, so that we have like a very good forecast of where it's safe to sail and where it's much more risky, kind of in a real-time way. And we're making great progress actually on that. But we are looking for something. We are looking for orca vocalization. So we are looking for recordings, or we're looking to record the vocalizations of orcas, because there aren't a lot of recordings of that around. You think like you know, researchers have made already over the last decades like lots of recordings of this, but I can tell you, we looked into it and it's surprisingly few data in this field. And so we're kind of playing with the idea to find as much people as we can kind of in the neighborhood of Portugal, and figure out a way so that when they go out sailing, or for example if there's cruisers or delivery captains who are kind of making the trip past the coast of Portugal and who stand a reasonable chance of you know, getting in contact with these pods of orcas that are operating in this area, to help them be equipped with some stuff that can actually listen and record kind of what the orcas are saying, because that's a very crucial part in perhaps finding a way to solve this problem. So if you are a captain or a boat owner in the particular, well, in the west coast of Europe area, so as far up to Shetland we have attacks now. So basically from Shetland to the Strait of Gibraltar. If you're living in Morocco on the coast and you have experience there, that's also fine. Yeah, if you'd like to maybe participate with us in trying to figure out this solution, and you'd be up to, you know, like put a audio microphone, for example, on your boat. You don't have to build anything in, you can just kind of drop it in the water. It's a hydrophone, I guess I should say. If you'd like to be kind of part of that, please get in touch via contact@seawolvestv.com, and yeah, hopefully we can really start to move the needle on this with some clever technological solutions soon, maybe even in time for the upcoming summer season. So if you would be willing to help us out in some way, and you have access, or you're the owner of a boat in that region, please let us know and get in touch. And yeah, that's actually it for the show today. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see each other again tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.